G'day and welcome back to Project Twin VNT. In the last episode, I installed some airbags and I got the car all ready to turn on. In this episode, it's time to turn it on. Okay, that may not actually be the first time I started it. Aside from a bit of time spent bleeding the diesel, it came to life no problem. First issue, the oil drain lines leak out of the flange. Now I could remove them and flatten it, however the idiot who designed this made it impossible to get them off without also removing the turbos. So, what I've done is used a hacksaw to cut this bit open here, allowing me to remove it. I'll flatten the flanges, reinstall them, and then braze up that crack. Only kidding, I made them out of flexi. With that done, there are no more obvious issues. I've been driving it around for a little bit, not having any issues with the cooling, so it's off to get it tuned. For that, I'm lucky enough to have access to the top dyno facility in the country. And here's the results. Almost 400 Newton meters across the entire rev range and a peak power of about 120 kilowatts. This was running about 16 psi boost and a little bit lean. I'll take care of that boost overshoot in a minute, but there's more power and torque to be had if I could bring those AFRs down a little bit, only the current injector pump is already at its limit. So, I've gone and spent a ridiculous amount of money rebuilding the original 10mm into a 12mm. And then, because of my refusal to remove the radiator, spent way too long trying to find the timing marks without being able to see. But I finally got it. I'm fairly certain that boost spark is caused by the high sensitivity of my actuator mechanism. It is adjustable by extending this arm here, however there's not enough range. So, I've completely redesigned it again. And as a result, without changing the spring, it now makes about 22 psi. With extra boost pressure comes extra exhaust manifold pressure, and it seems that the 16 psi I was running was about the limit for my manifold flanges, which weren't quite flat. The other day I noticed a funny putting noise, and there's smoke coming out behind the manifolds. Upon further inspection, I've blown out the gaskets, so it's off to get the faces milled flat. While everything was apart, I took one of the turbos to a top secret research facility and put it through a bench test. This helps set the optimum upper and lower limits of the vane positions, which I've then carefully replicated on the other one. Time to see how much I can really get out of these turbos. That's enough of that. You may notice an abundance of empty space behind me. The first run started well, but torque started to drop off almost immediately. By about 2000 RPM there was a concerning noise from the engine bay and the run ended. There was oil on the ground and all through the exhaust. Upon opening the intake pipework, that's not good. And that's even worse. I wonder what the turbine side looks like. Now where could that be? Still some parts missing, but after checking the shrapnel filter, I found all these chunks of aluminium and this small bit of steel on the left that looks suspiciously like a compressor shaft seal. So here's the current theory on what happened. The shaft seal on Turbo 1 frees itself and pushes the compressor wheel into the housing. The shaft breaks and the turbine makes off down the exhaust. Now stalled, no pressure is being pushed through the intercooler and into the manifold. Turbo 2 is still trying to hold manifold pressure, but there is now an open pathway back through the intercooler, backwards through Turbo 1 and into the intake. Air flows down this path, dislodging one or both of these pieces and directs them into the intake of Turbo 2. What caused the shaft seal to give up on life? Well, at the time the turbos were only pushing out about 70 kilowatts each, and they've been installed in applications pushing out 90. so I don't think that I was overworking them. Current theory is a manufacturing fault. The good side to this, at the start of the run, before the turbos exploded, the car was making very nearly 1,000 Newton meters. Hopefully I can get somewhat close to this next time with a slightly wider margin of safety. That'll have to do for episode 13 while I wait for the new parts to arrive, so thanks for watching.